Good afternoon. I want to invite you to the Restaurant Biz Conference. We're going to talk today about the new information that has come into play regarding assistance for small businesses, especially in the restaurant industry. So I will go through some slides. I will then show you some of the information that we have received from the government after the passing of the CARE Act on Friday, the information that has come in this morning on the ability to take out a loan for the Paycheck Protection Program and what all of that means for you as a small business owner. So one of the things to keep in mind is the fact that we have not been able to give you definitive answers yet. The banks are still waiting to receive information, as well as our office, on how exactly to apply. But we will help you with that just as soon as we get that information. So I'm going to go back to the first slide here. Here are the emails to reach us at Tillamook Small Business Development Center. The general email address will get you to the office. If you would like to speak directly to me as an advisor, that is my email address there on the screen. Arlene Soto is the executive director at the Small Business Development Center here at Tillamook, and as you can imagine, we have been busy, and she in particular, on doing the majority of the calls and conference meetings with the government and SBA, so trying to help share that burden. So as we move forward, what we're going to look at is where you are. So resiliency and disasters, where are you right now? Critical business assets, who do you have as far as people, your data, your operations, where are you at in the inventory, equipment? Financial position is one of those terms that they use a lot on the banking and loan side, where they're looking at where are you with your financials as far as a balance sheet, profit and loss. Those are things that we can help with. What insurance do you have in place, and how is your facility? The other thing we want to look at is how to assess communications. How are communications working with your employees, with your customers, with your suppliers, the media and the government? As things come down, are you able to access that information in a timely manner? And then assess the impact of the disaster. So because the length of the disruption is changing, the thing that you need to be aware of is there are terms that are very important that you use. One is forbearance, asking for the forbearance of loans and payments that are due right now, that if you are able to offset those. Mortgage is one that comes into play as a person. To talking to your mortgage company, you can ask for a forbearance, which would give you, especially if you're laid off, the opportunity to delay your mortgage payments without penalty and interest. So those are words that you need to be aware of. The other is that this is a COVID-19 disaster. There are a number of other disasters that are currently listed on the SBA site, and if you're not paying particular attention to what you're doing, you could apply for the wrong loan or the wrong assistance and end up in I want to say just end up kind of in the black hole or the dark hole there of internet until that's figured out. So we don't know the length of the disruption. We don't know how long it'll be before essential services to maintain current status, much less for the duration of the disruption. What is your workforce like? What tools and resources do you have available? And what is your continuation plan? What do you think that you're able to do, and what are you planning out for? In a conversation that I had on Saturday with retail businesses, we have a unique perspective on the coast because we're used to our winter season and our summer or tourist season. And so while things may not be as bad right now in March, primarily because we're used to that, what will happen as we move into May and June? So those are things that we want to keep an eye on and we want to be able to help you with. So where to find resources? The easiest place is to go to www.bizcenter.org. We provide a list of resources known by the SBDC. They're coming to us from state, local, federal, and other sources. So we're trying to keep that updated. We're pretty much on top of that and keeping things up to date on the page so that you're able to access that information. What we want to look at now is what you need to know about SBA disaster loans. And we're going to look at the overview of how to apply. Before we get too far into that, I wanted to let you know that QuickBooks and GoFundMe have a small business relief initiative that is going on, and that is located at www.gofundme.com, Small Business Relief Fund, or look up Small Business Relief Initiative QuickBooks and you'll be able to find it. One of the things that we want to look at is you're going to need this information to be able to apply for a loan, and that is you need to build a forecast and scenarios. So the forecast would be a situation where you're able to say, this is what we did, this is how we've been affected, this is what we think will happen over the next month, and then this is what we're expecting given that we could open the doors and start, let's say, mid-May, first part of June, this is what we're expecting. You need to look at your expenses, and so the question will come into play is what are the expenses that you need to address and the expenses that can be cut. Assess your staffing plans, and we'll talk about that a little bit more when we look at the other slides because that will help us with that. And then forecasting your cash, how to forecast out and determine how much money that you're going to need. And so we can help, we've got templates and things that will help us put together, and then how to apply for a loan. Live Plan from Palo Alto Software has a business plan, has a program that we can help you build these. There's also free templates that we can help with as well. So just wanted to make you aware of those. The Small Business Owner's Guide to the CARES Act just came down this morning, and I'm going to basically just give you this snapshot. It will give you several other places to go and look at. It still doesn't have a lot of detail as to what you need to be able to apply for the loan, but it will answer some of the questions that you may have. If you want a copy of it and it's not available on the site, again, you can email me and I'll get that out to you. When you go into the SBA to apply for the economic industry disaster loan, and again, there's going to be a number of loans listed, or disasters, I should say, that are listed. And keep in mind that Nashville had a tornado recently, and so there may be tornado relief. So you need to pay attention to which one you're actually looking for, and make sure that when you apply for the disaster loan that you look for the COVID-19 economic impact. So eligible applicants, small businesses, nonprofits, and owners of rental property, which again is going to affect several people on our side of the coastline here. Credit history, applicants must have a credit history acceptable to SBA. So if you're fairly new in business, do understand that your personal credit will come into play with that. If you've been in business less than 2 years, you're probably already familiar with that. And then the SBA is going to determine that the applicant business has the ability to repay the SBA loan. So they will look at that. Please understand that they're going to work with everybody as much as they can. So don't say, I don't know what that looks like, so I'm not even going to try. Do try. It's worth your time to spend. They're willing to work with everybody. So the link is apply at disasterloan.sba.gov. And again, the links are on the information that I'm presenting on the screen. And if you are not able to access it, again, let me know. Make sure you do not lose your username and password. Write that down. Make sure that you keep it close. If it gets lost, they've warned that being on hold for the IT guys to help you find that may be a long, long time. So make sure that you write down your username and password. There's two other things that are really important, and that is there's no cost to apply, and there's no obligation to accept the loan. So there are a number of different resources that may be available to you. I would go ahead and apply, and with the understanding that if you are accepted for the loan, but another funding or grant source comes in that is a better option for you, then you can still take that and not accept this loan, because you can't on several of them do both, and you'll need to determine which one is the better option for you. Applicants who are not eligible to apply for these loans are agriculture enterprises. So if you're in the farming industry, you actually need to go to USDA. They have resources there for farming. Religious organizations, cannabis businesses, and gambling concerns do not qualify. The terms of the loan, it can be up to $2 million. The interest rate is 3.75 for small businesses and 2.75 for a nonprofit. When you apply, if you apply at a bank that's qualified as a 7A lender, their rates cannot be any higher than that 3.75. So make sure that you are aware of that, and when you're talking with your banker, that you clarify that. Criteria: acceptable personal credit history. They're saying confirming at 6 plus. You're able to demonstrate your ability to repay. How you're going to use your funds. One of the things that's really important is it's to keep your business running. It's not for you to now build a second location or something of that nature. That will not be acceptable. And then federal guidelines for small businesses. You must have 500 employees or less with average annual receipts under $7.5 million to qualify as small. And there's some exceptions that are, again, if you are watching the screen, you can see where that link would go. As far as collateral, there is none required for loans that are under $25,000. Once you hit the $25,000 and above mark, they're going to look for some collateral. They will not decline you solely on the basis of lack of collateral, but they're going to ask you what you have that's available. So as a restaurant, if you own your business, that will be one that they may ask for some collateral against. When I say the business, the building, the real estate that you own. So you will need to have that information and know that when you apply. So the next two screens have all of the links for where to go and apply and how to. Right now, they're suggesting that the website is the best option. However, with the number of people that are going in and signing up, sometimes the site's crashing. So be aware of that. If you feel like it would be advantageous to you to print it out and get it all filled out so that when you're online, you can do that pretty easily, that might be the route that you want to take. The other thing is that when we go here to this slide, when you look at the request for transcript of tax returns, that form needs to be downloaded and signed, and then scan it or take a picture, whatever you need to do, get it back into on your computer, on your desktop, or a location that you can access it when it comes time to upload it. If you're not able to upload that, it's going to delay your request as well. Potential other circumstances that may make you ineligible as a business is if you've had past bankruptcy, you've got any types of liens or lawsuits against you, and the list kind of goes on from there. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about those. So all required documents listed under the form tabs need to be returned and or uploaded if you're doing the online application. And there's an electronic signature that will be taken during the time that you're doing that online, so keep that in mind. And if the applications are not complete, they will be put in a queue, but they will not be processed. So if you have any questions, need to contact them. The number is 1-800-659-2955. I've had this owner tell me that she got a live person on the first try, so you might be able to get in there and get the information right away. You might be online, so be prepared for that as well. So I want to share with you another screen, and what I'm going to do is stop this one, and we're going to look at restaurant employee relief information. So the Restaurant Employee Relief Fund is through the National Restaurant Association Educational Foundation, and they have provided an employee relief fund to help during this COVID-19 outbreak. The grants are going to go to restaurant workers themselves. It talks about what the criteria for those workers are, and the relief amount is a one-time $500 check to use towards housing, transportation, utilities. Realize that it's not a lot, but every little bit helps. So their grant request lines are going to be available on April 2nd, which will be Thursday of this week. And there's a simple form that they will fill out and will help them. So if you have any questions on that, the site or this, I will make this available on our Facebook as well, so that you guys will have access to that. The other information that I wanted to let you guys take a look at is the information that came down today. This is in the 2020 Small Business Owners Guide to the CARES Act. So right now, this is all the information that we have. There's a link where you can go to the local Small Business Administrative District office, which for us is actually in California. So it will give you a link. You can locate it there. And there are several things that I just want to draw your attention to. So capital to cover the cost of retaining your employees, that's going to be the Paycheck Protection Program. If you're looking for a quick infusion of a smaller amount of cash to help you just get through right now, there's an emergency economic injury grant that you can write for. And then if you're having problems or struggling fears with your current or potential SBA loan and keeping up with payments, there are links for that as well. And then if you're just not sure how to navigate through all of this, then there's a list of resource partners that will be there to help you. So this is an 11-page document. It goes through and answers questions, a lot of the frequently asked questions. This is the one that is not, the banks have this and we receive this at the SBDC office, but it doesn't give us specifics on how to apply just yet. They're still working out those details. So one of the things that you can do is just read through the question and answers and make sure that you fit, you know what question or that you need to ask or what information you need to provide. How is the loan size determined? and that's going to be one that's going to be important for you to know when you go in and you ask, is if you were in business February 15th through June 30th, your max loan is equal to 250% of your average monthly payroll during that time period. Most of us may have done our first payroll, or at least had the fourth quarter of 2019 and hopefully the first quarter of 2020 to be able to give some information for that. And with us being more seasonal on the coast, if you can actually pull up your records from all of your quarterly filings, you will be able to answer those questions as well. If you took out an economic injury disaster loan between February 15th and June 30th, you may want to refinance that loan into a PPP loan, which is the payroll protection program, and they will tell you how to do that. When looking at what costs are eligible for the payroll program, it is salary, wage, commission, or similar compensation, payment of cash tip or equivalents. So you need to be able to, again, have those informations or numbers available to be able to answer those questions. Know what, if people have vacation time, they have sick or medical leave, be able to answer those questions. And then what costs are not eligible for payroll, employee owner compensation over 100,000. Then there's a couple of taxes that are not compensation of employees whose principal place of residence is outside of the U.S., and then qualified sick and family leave. There's a Family First Coronavirus Response Act that they may qualify for. So it's not going to pay you twice. It's going to be one or the other. So they'll need to look at that. What are the allowable uses of the loan proceeds? And this will go into answering those questions. And that's just page 3. And as you can see, there's 11 pages to this document. So we're not going to spend a lot of time going through this. At this point, there are not any more resources that I have available for you. I know that most of the restaurants here in town are currently notifying or putting notifications on the Tillamook County Chamber. They have set up a website or a Facebook page that you can list your hours, your daily specials. You can put your menu on there. If you're willing to do deliveries or takeout. If you are in a situation that people are asking if you can deliver and you don't have that resource, please contact us at the SBDC here in Tillamook. We have some funds that we're aware of that could be used to help you to make deliveries or to proceed with that option if you could do that. So if you're not currently delivering, but you would like to consider that, you're getting that question a lot, make sure and ask us. As I said, the only one that I know of currently is the Chamber that has the listing, and you are able to put on information if you want to offer daily specials or post your time open and closed and how you want to transact with people. Sometimes you can set up the pickup and delivery at a table outside of the doors if you're going to take this cash, or if you want to take this plastic credit card. That way you're not handling money. Those are all things that you're able to communicate. So at this particular point, I think that we are good. I am going to put up that information again and let you have the email addresses and the address for the U.S. Small Business Administration if you are going to want to apply for funds. So this pretty much wraps up our call today, but I wanted to let you know that, again, You could go to our website, www.bizcenter.org. Locations is Tillamook. Email is tillamook.sbdc@bizcenter.org. And we will be able to get back to you and answer any questions or assist you in any way that we can to get, if we don't have an answer, we will find it and get it out to you. So please don't hesitate to give us a call, and we hope you're all doing well. Thanks so much.